Before we dive in, I want to make note of a few things. One, why did I want to learn the skill? Why did I want to learn the skill of tactical hide and seek, aka camouflage? Well, the first one is it's just fun. I just like learning new skills, and this was one of the skills I wanted to learn, and I really enjoyed it. Two, I realized that learning to hide targets will help you find targets, and learning to find targets will help you hide targets. So as we've been doing NRL Hunter, we've been searching for hidden targets or trying to find them in different areas. And that's made me want to learn how to hide, because if you know how to hide, you know what to look for when you're searching. And when you know what to look for when you're searching, you know how to hide. So they help each other. So for me, this is helping me to find targets when we do NRL Hunter or things like that. And then the third one is that as I've been reading more this year about early militias and what it means to be a prepared citizen, I realized that being a prepared citizen is much more than just being a shooter. And so I've been learning a lot of new skills, and this is just one of the ones that I wanted to pick up that I've enjoyed. And I've got a lot of questions about some of the stuff you guys have seen in photos and videos and things like that. So I figured do a quick breakdown of my setup and what I've learned thus far. There's two people that I reference, and I will reference them throughout this video, but I want to make note of it up front so you guys can go follow them. One of them is Skullduggerous Pirate. I will leave his account right here. Go follow him. He's got a ton of videos out on his Instagram account, and he's got some on his YouTube as well, talking about ghillie setups, talking about Viper hoods, talking about veils and jute, and he's going to be testing out some different ones. So if you've got questions, go hit him up about that specifically. And the other is Bruiser. So you guys know Bruiser from all the other videos, but again, I will link him down in the description, and that is his Instagram. Go follow him. He's got some stuff on his Instagram account, some past reels or videos he's done where he's talked about veils, or he's talked about ghillies and things like that. And so I reached out to them too, and those were the two that helped me the most. There's also a lot of other information out there that you can search on YouTube and through manuals and things like that. But without further ado, let's dive in. Starting off with the sniper veil, I decided to go with the veil after talking with Joe, because Joe mentioned that it's just more field expedient. I think it's the right word. It's faster. It's faster in the field. It's easier to set up. Using a full ghillie or a Viper hood, they can be big, they can be bulky, they carry a lot of water, they carry trash and things like that, and it's just harder to pack away. And so he said that a veil would be something you would probably use most of the time, or more likely to use in a variety of situations, and it's more versatile than using something specific like a ghillie. Ghillie is a very specific tool for a very specific purpose. So the base of it for me is I set up with a UF Pro, their boonie hat. I don't remember the exact model. I'll link it down below. But the reason I went with this is because it does have the metal wire in it. It does have hook and loop on the sides and on the top. So what I did was I ended up stitching hook and loop on the inside of the veil, so I just stick it on there, and that's how it attaches. There are other ways to do it. Some guys will cut out the top, and then you have little hooks that'll go through. They'll attach them different ways that way. But this is the way that I've opted to do it, and it's worked well for me. It's just a quick way to put it on, it attaches, and a quick way to get it off. So this helps break up that silhouette. With the veil, I do store it in this is an Eberlestock dry bag. It's just a little 5 liter. You could probably put it in a 3 liter, but I do recommend putting it in one of these, because one of the things I found out very quickly was that your veil carries a lot of trash, and if you use different types of jute that'll get attached to Velcro, that'll get all over the inside of your bag or wherever you're storing it. So whatever, by putting it in a dry bag, if it's wet, if it's dirty, whatever, it keeps all that in here, and it doesn't get all over all your other stuff in your bag. Or if you just need to take it out, it's just a simpler way to store it. So highly recommend a dry bag like this Eberlestock one. Doesn't have to be Eberlestock, but that's what I used. Just want to lay this out for you guys so you can kind of see what I've done so far. This is still a work in progress. I'm still learning the skills, so every time I go out and I try to hide something using this, I learn something new and I make adjustments to the veil or to my approach to it, whatever it may be. Quick disclaimer, this is from Carcajou Tactical. There are some things in here that I will mention, and I will leave links down below, but I purchased this from Carcajou Tactical. I purchased 2 of these veils. I used their 3D leaves, their garnish, their jute, their attachments. I ordered a bunch of stuff from them. They're like, if you like it, we'll get you an affiliate link, and you can share the affiliate link, and it'll save people some money, with a coupon code. So if they like it, then go out and test it. So obviously, because there's an affiliate link down in the description, I liked it. There's a coupon code and affiliate link down in the description, but full disclaimer on that. So if you're interested in using this or something from them, you get a discount code on that. So I'm gonna show you guys really quick what I was talking about earlier with the boonie. So here's the hook and loop, and then I can just attach it to the hat, so that way it stays together. So that's what I've done with that to attach it. Again, there are other ways to do it. Other guys have different ways they like to do it. For me, I just thought that was a good idea, and I thought I'd try it. So what I did was I started with their veil base, and this is a part of their ghillie mesh is essentially what it is. And then what I did was I took wire cutters and I cut little spots in here where I can attach. So these are veg attachments, and then they're jute. So these are just their little jute strings. One thing that I will say that I found that works really well to make it look more like traditional jute, if that's the look you're going for, is if you take these, because they come out as little rectangles, and if you've ever had to roll dreadlocks, you just roll them like dreadlocks, and they come out looking more like traditional jute. All I did was just tie them over there, and then I've tried to mix and match the colors and patterns. The base that I went with is probably a little bit dark. It's a kind of a coyote brown or a tan, like an earth. I probably would have gone a little bit lighter with more like a sand color or an FDE. And one of the things that both Luke from Skulldugger's Pirate and Joe from Bruiser Industries both mentioned is that you can always make light things dark. It's harder to make dark things lighter. And then when these things get wet, they're going to appear darker too. So keep that in mind as you're choosing a color for your vegetation. That's why this base is what it is. And then I just mixed in jute to break up the texture, and then also break up the silhouette and just the uniformity of it all. On top, this is their 3D leaf. So what I've done with the 3D leaf is I've just kind of folded it a few times, but then like here in the middle, what I did is I folded it in half and then twisted it almost to where it looks like a flower, and then zip tied these in there. And this is just to break up on the top, because this is the center of it. It's to break up that silhouette like I was talking about earlier, of just like what we traditionally see as a head. And then with these attachments, they have a bungee attachment. I've opted for the paracord because I found that this actually holds on better. So I tried the bungee initially, and with like grass, especially like dry grass here in Texas, and some like smaller branches, it always wanted to just slide right out. Anytime you like moved or turned or anything, it was just falling out, wouldn't stay in place. And I found using this, because you can control the tension on there and put a lot of tension on it, it'll hold the grass better, it'll hold the veg better. So that's why I have these and none of the bungee. I did try the bungee, just didn't work well for me. Maybe the way you attach it, it'll work better for you. But I have a ton of veg attachments, because Joe has rightly said that you're going to use way more veg than jute. So don't get too consumed with the jute side of it, or using stuff like this. Make sure you have a lot of good veg attachment and you're using veg correctly. And Luke said nothing will beat using veg properly. So that is the veil. If you guys saw, I did the video on rattle can the ridgeline, and that was a part of this. I wanted to get this set up. Again, doing a light base like Joe and Luke both talked about, because it's always easier to make these things darker with veg. The colors that I chose, so we have a tan, we have a gray, and then you can kind of barely see it, but we have some green splotches in there. And one of the things I learned through this process, or I've been learning, is to study the vegetation around you. So I really looked at how grass grew around where I was, how the vegetation grew, and the way the shadows looked, and tried to mimic that with the paint that we did. The idea was to do these like gray stripes, so tan base and then do gray stripes across that would mimic the way the shadows look here in Texas, or where I live in Texas. Then we wrap that packaging paper around it to give a pattern, but not a uniform pattern. So it has these different splotches. You get these little green splotches throughout the rattle can, so you can see it kind of breaks that up. And so if you look real close, you can kind of see where it changes. And it's real subtle, but that's what I wanted. I wanted it to be subtle because that's how it looks in the nature that I'm at. We don't have high contrast. We have this like subtle blend of colors that goes from one to an X, as it goes from shadows and the different vegetation, how it all blends together. And then in that video, if you notice the end, if you know where to look, you can actually see the outline of the rifle. You can't see the color of it, but you can see the outline of it, mainly this top rail right here and the optic. So I knew right away I wanted to add some garnish on there. So this is their 3D garnish from Carcajou Tactical. And what I did was I just wrapped it around the scope to help break up that silhouette so it doesn't look so uniform. And then I wrapped it around the light, the suppressor, around the legs of the bipod. And then I put some 3D leaves here. I just cut them in half and then put them on there. Again, just trying to break up this hard line right here, because that just doesn't look natural in nature. There's nothing I can do about the bottom, because this is an integrated ARCA and I do use it. So I don't want to have anything draped off of here that's going to interfere with that. I also don't want to have any jute that's going to drop down and interfere with the ejection door and cause any kind of malfunction here. So everything that I have is going to be from here forward as far as like vegetation attachment. And using with the veil is going to hang over the backside of this. So it kind of makes up for that. But what you'll notice here is I've got little veg attachments here. So I can attach a veg here that'll cover this side. And then I've got attachments to cover veg here. So this breaks up the silhouette. And then I've got some at the front too, so I can lay it over the front, break up the suppressor. So the only issue that I have here is that I need to paint this cap black, because as you can see, it looks like a black dot. And then the suppressor. So Because it is a flow through, as the gases flow through there, the end cap of that, or the front of the suppressor, is going to continue to get darker and darker, even if I Cerakote it. So I've got to be conscious about that and either put vegetation on the front of that, wrap it around there somehow, or switch suppressors to something like a Surefire or something with a closed end cap so that it doesn't look like that dark spot in the woods. It is noticeable. It is something that when I go out and I put it out in the woods and I try to hide it, I know where to look and I know where it's at exactly. So I'm looking for things. I'm trying to identify what would give it away. And these two are two that definitely do. So that's something that I've got to figure out and solve. So this is one that I've got a ton of questions about. I have so many people message me every time they see it in photos, they see it in videos. What are the sleeves that go over? These are from Tracer Tactical. Again, I don't have a link for this. I'm not sponsored by them or anything. I did reach out and ask. He said, I just don't have any affiliate links or coupon codes. I was like, cool, no worries. Still think it's a great product. Still use it. Paid for this full price. They offer it in this is multicam. They have it in a few other colors. So you can go to him and ask if you want that. I think the custom made ones, which are anything outside of multicam, are going to, I think, have like a 2 to 4 week lead time. But that's what they are. These are just tripod sleeves. This part right here that covers the head is actually a sack. It doubles as a sack. So you can take the legs off or take the sleeves off the legs, put it in the sack and store it in your bag if you don't want to have it on your tripod all the time. The thing about these is they do have little shot cord attachment, top and bottom. So if you just extend this leg, I'll show you. You can take this, loosen up the tension on the shot cord, and then slide it down. If you have a taller tripod, you're gonna need 2 sets of these in order to cover the full tripod. I did mention earlier that I don't like using shot cord or bungees to attach veg. In this situation, it works because it's holding it vertical, it doesn't flop over or fall, and because you have so much, because this cord wraps all the way around, you can stick it through multiple parts and hold it on there. And so you can fill this whole thing up with veg and cover the entire tripod so it doesn't stand out as, 3 black legs of a tripod. The bag. Now I didn't show this in the intro, but this is another option, and it is just a makeshift cover for the backpack. I actually got this from LA Snipers, so I will right here leave a link for them down in the description. All it is a sniper like scarf or veil, and you can take this and then run some shot cord through it and then just wrap it around the bag. Put your little shot cord attachment over here. You put it top or bottom, anywhere you can find it, and then you basically just cinch down the shot cord, tuck in the edges, and now you have a cover for your backpack. So I put just some little 3D leaf. These are, again, Carcajou Tactical. I just zip tied some 3D leaves on there to help break up the silhouette, and then again, put attachments for natural vegetation, because that's gonna be your best friend. Natural vegetation is gonna be the money maker. So I need to attach some more. I need to put some more veg attachments, so I'll probably order some more of these from Carcajou Tactical, and then probably put some more 3D leaves on here just to break up the silhouette so that it blends in better with the environment. And then when you're done, you just loosen the shot cord, take the whole thing off, and you can stash it back in your bag. But that's what I made for the backpack. Lastly, I want to share how I've been going about practicing and learning this in case you want to practice on your own. So basically what I do is I just go out to the field that you guys have seen in a bunch of videos, in the woods, that area, and I find different areas. So I've had spots that are just in really pretty open areas, pretty wooded areas, and everything in between, and I try to hide something there, whether it's a tripod, whether it's a soccer ball and a ladder, any big thing that's out of place in that field, I try to hide it using these items. And because I know where it's at, because I know exactly where that item is, I'm not really looking for it. More so, I'm looking at what gives it away. What about it can I pick out that I know for a fact that is something that shouldn't be there, or it's something that I'm trying to hide. So there was a couple videos, or like I posted and I was like, can you find the tripod in this video? And nobody could really find it, but I could find it because I knew where it was, and I could see the tripod leg coming at an angle, and it was out of place, and I knew it. And then so I bought the legs for it. Or there's been times where I didn't use veg as well as I should, or like in this last time at the intro, I noticed how many gaps I have in my veil, so I'm gonna fill some of that in with jute, but also add some more vegetation attachments there, so that way I can fill in those gaps better and it hides better. So every time I go out, I'm learning something new. I'm finding those things, like finding the end cap of the scope or of the suppressor, things like that. You start to find those little things and you slowly improve. So that's how I've been doing it. There are guys who know way more than me. Again, not an expert in this, not claiming to be, just trying to learn the skill and having fun with it, and wanted to share what I've learned thus far. That's my tactical hide and seek setup. So if you guys have questions about any of that stuff, leave it in the comments down below. If you want to learn more, go follow Bruiser, go follow Skulldugger's Pirate, check out LA Snipers. Links for everything will be down in the description. Thank you guys for following along. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe. Karate chop that bell so you get notified every time I upload a video, and I will see you guys in the next one.